bring you the team news then from all of tonight's games. We're going to start with the 8 o'clock kickoff, so let's take you to St James's Park to see how Newcastle and Manchester City will line up. Here's Courtney.
Yeah, and I can tell you, Natalie, first of all, confirmation that Newcastle are on the point of setting a club record transfer. They're buying the Paraguay international Miguel Almiron. He's coming from Atlanta in the USA.
Let's start with
Marco Silva will be disappointed that he's halfway in the division when everybody's expecting Everton to be a lot higher up.
OK, Simon Fennell, thank you very much. OK, Simon Fennell, thank you very much. Let's bring you the team news then from all of tonight's games. We're going to start with the 8 o'clock kickoff, so let's take you to St James's Park to see how Newcastle and Manchester City will line up. Here's Courtney.
Yeah, and I can tell you, Natalie, first of all, confirmation that Newcastle are on the point of setting a club record transfer. They're buying the Paraguay international Miguel Almiron. He's coming from Atlanta in the USA. And apparently, I think last year, he was voted their top player in the MLS. Club record, well, currently 16 million quid. That was from Michael Owen 14 years ago. But this deal will top that. I understand it's around about £20 million. So at least something for Newcastle fans to feel a little bit upbeat about on a night when Toon fans are expecting a little bit of a backs-to-the-wall performance here against Manchester City. Confirmation of team news for you. I can tell you that, Rafa, no changes from the side that beat Cardiff 3-0 here 10 days ago. So they're on it with Dubravka in goal. He actually joined in last January's transfer window. Yedlin, Cher, Lascelles, Lejeune and Ritchie, that's a back five. Four across the middle, Perez, Hayden, Longstaff and Atsu, with Solomon Rondon up front. What about Man City? Well, Pep Guardiola, a couple of changes from the side that won 3-0 at Huddersfield. Otamendi and Gundogan, they drop down to the bench. John Stones and David Silva come in. So it's Ederson in goal. Back four of Walker, Stones, Laporte and Danilo. And then across the middle, David Silva, Fernandinho and De Bruyne, with up front Sane, Aguero and Sterling. Got a fancy in a way when in this game, Newcastle against Manchester City here at St James's.
Graham, thank you. To Old Trafford this evening then. The 8 o'clock kickoffs in the Premier League are underway, and would you believe it, there's already been a goal at St James's Park. Courtney.
I can't believe it took so long. Newcastle 0, Manchester City 1. Newcastle kicked off, fiddled about a bit, and then Manchester City got hold of the ball, and after 26 seconds, Sergio Aguero scrambled the ball into the back of the net. Scruffy sort of goal, but that won't matter. Bearing in mind that Manchester City desperately get 3 points here tonight just to close the gap on Liverpool, who play tomorrow, down to that single point. So Man City, after 26 seconds here at St James's Park, have taken the lead. Sergio Aguero at the goal. Newcastle 0, Manchester City 1.
What's good for Cardiff here is, one, they don't look like they've been affected by what's been going on, and two, Newcastle, Fulham, Huddersfield all losing. If they can just get something tonight here, even if it's a point, won't take them out of the bottom three, it'll bring them to within a point of Newcastle though, and I'll tell you what, that would be absolutely huge. So,
and Newcastle, so how's the game going on now? Courtney.
Well, 12 on the clock, still Newcastle 0, Man City 1. That was Sergio Aguero. Incidentally, that is City's 31st goal of this month. They've scored more in a month than Newcastle have scored all season, and that's in all competitions as well. And certainly since Aguero got that one in after 26 seconds, well, it's been all Man City, it really has. And particularly Raheem Sterling going down the right flank. He's just raining balls in from the right-hand side. And bear in mind that Newcastle's defence is supposed to be one of their stronger points at the moment. They look decidedly shaky. There'll be more goals in this game. Nailed on. We have got 12 and a half gone here. Chance here, though, for Newcastle. The ball comes out the edge of the area. Shot comes across. And Solomon Rondon just could not actually chase in on time to actually see if he can get something onto it. Really good build-up, though, by DeAndre Yedlin, who's been one of the top players for Newcastle with that ball fired in. But Rondon just not able to actually accelerate fast enough to latch onto it. So a chance for Newcastle, finally. 13 gone. It's Newcastle 0, Man City 1.
The ball has been in the back of the net once again, but ruled out. Courtney.
Yep, Newcastle 0, Manchester City 1. Sergio Aguero got the ball into the back of the net, but Kevin De Bruyne, who was the player who actually took the free kick and floated the ball into the area, plainly, he actually took it before the referee, it was Paul Tierney tonight, had blown to say, right, look, let's get going again. And he's been booked for it as well. So whether it's just a miscommunication there between the referee and the rest of the players, I don't know. But De Bruyne has been actually booked, floated the ball in, and Aguero put it away. The goal disallowed, of course, because in effect play hadn't even got underway. So another chance here though for Man City. Aguero's into the area, but a decent blocking tackle there from Newcastle United, and well, Newcastle at the moment, they're all at sea, they really are. There's absolutely no way they're going to come back into this game, and it's only a matter of time before they concede again, because they just look shaky at the back and they are getting absolutely nothing up front. And Salomon Rondon, who you'd expected the player who's going to be actually spearheading things and pushing through the middle up front, is actually playing out on the wing. Christian Atsu is actually playing more in centre, and he's normally the flying it machine out on the left. All very odd. But anyway, one thing's for certain, no change in the scoreline. 18 gone, Newcastle 0, Manchester City 1.
Both Manchester sides. So let's find out how Manchester City are getting on then. They're in Newcastle. Graham Courtney.
39 gone here, Natalie. Still Newcastle 0, Manchester City 1. Sergio Aguero scoring after 26 seconds. City's 31st goal of the month. That's also, incidentally, their fastest goal in the Premier League since 2013 against Spurs. But Newcastle actually, well, there have been a few forays forward. Just seen a decent attack, actually. Salomon Rondon, he's teed up Christian Atsu on the edge of the D. Now, Atsu's let fly. It's deflected over. It's one of those that could have gone absolutely anywhere. But at least Newcastle are giving it a go. I mean, they're trailing, so they may as well. But there's a decent chance here for City, and it's going to be Sane. He's over on the far flank for the 18-yard box. He's trying to get a shot in. It's actually ricocheting away, though. It actually struck Jamal Lascelles, so that one has gone away. So Leroy Sané misses out on that one. But Man City still looking very, very good when they're going forward. It's 5 to the break here on Tyneside. Newcastle 0, Manchester City 1.
Time, so let's bring you confirmation of the score lines at Newcastle, where Manchester City are. Graham Courtney is.
And it is Newcastle 0, Manchester City 1. And you know what? At half-time, I think the vast majority of Newcastle fans will be happy with that. Bearing in mind they conceded after 26 seconds. Newcastle actually kicked off, which makes it even more criminal, really, and then quickly lost the ball, and then, well, it was sort of long ball, bit of a hit and hope, floated into the Newcastle 6-yard area. Chaos, really, the ball just bobbling around. And there was Sergio Aguero doing exactly what he does, scrambling the ball in the back of the net for his 17th goal of the season. That's the City's 31st goal of this month alone. They also had the ball at the back of the net after 18 minutes, Aguero again, but this time it was a free kick that was taken by Kevin De Bruyne, but it looked as though he'd actually taken it before Paul Tini, the referee, had blown to actually get play underway. So the goal was disallowed, and weirdly De Bruyne was booked as well. But anyway, Newcastle have had the odd flurry going forward. DeAndre Yedlin's gone reasonably close. Christian Atsu had a shot that was deflected well and truly over the bar. But you know what? So far at the end of this opening 45, Newcastle no shots on target. And last weekend in the Watford game, they only had one shot on target. So in terms of action in the 6-yard box from Newcastle's side of it, it's all a bit thin on the ground. But Manchester City, well, you just got the impression that they are cruising through this one at the moment. Half-time here on Tyneside. Newcastle 0, Manchester City 1.
We're taking on Manchester City, are looking to close the gap on Liverpool, of course. Graham Courtney.
10 minutes gone in this second 45. It's Newcastle 0, Manchester City 1, and we've had it confirmed, actually, the goal 25 seconds on the clock when City scored. Sergio Aguero in the opening 45 minutes at 25 seconds. Pretty good going. Newcastle fans are quite happy with a 1-0 scoreline at half-time, bearing in mind that early goal. But at least Newcastle are giving it a bit of a go, and the one player who's making a real difference is Christian Atsu. In fact, he's on the ball at the moment, and he's trying to play the ball out the left where he finds Salomon Rondon. But, you know, Newcastle, when they go forward, they actually look okay, and it's when they try to sit back and be clever, that's when they get caught, and that's exactly what has happened on several occasions. But so far, Newcastle are actually giving as good as they get. Man City looking a shade off the pace. 55 gone here. Newcastle 0, Manchester City 1.
Graham Courtney.
It is Newcastle 1, Manchester City 1, and Salomon Rondon with the goal. That is his 7th of the season. And do you know what? It was very, very similar to the goal that was scored very early on in this game by Sergio Aguero. Scruffy one, really. The ball lobbed into the area. 4 to 5 players have gone to it, but Salomon Rondon, he's got in where it hurts, and he has stabbed it in over the line from close range. Newcastle back in this. I've got to say, Manchester City this evening, I think they look way off the pace. Could it be the old adage? You can actually score too early in a game. 25 seconds. Boy, was that early. But this one, after 66 minutes, it is Salomon Rondon with the equaliser. It is Newcastle 1, Manchester City 1.
There's a penalty for Graham Courtney.
It's still Newcastle 1, Manchester City 1. We've got 77 minutes on the clock. Newcastle have got a penalty. Matt Ritchie is going to be the player who will take it for Newcastle United. He's got a pretty decent record as well. Going to be a little bit of a delay while we have Edison, who said he needs a little bit of treatment. The referee doesn't seem all that convinced with it. Is he going to actually bring... Oh, he's bringing the... Oh. unbelievable, it really is. His hair's out of place. So a couple of trainers have come on. I don't know whether you need this back just for the moment, but let's stick with this because I don't think it's going to be too long before he gets himself sorted out. But it's been a really good performance by Newcastle. Do you know what? You'd have put your mortgage on Manchester City cruising to this one to be a safe 3 points. Bearing in mind that they scored after 25 seconds. Sergio Aguero. Newcastle actually kicked off. And then they lost the ball really, really quickly, and away went Man City, and they managed to get the ball into the area. It was chaos, really. The ball just ricocheting around the place, and Aguero stabbed it in from close range. But Newcastle have given it a right good go. This could be a real red-letter day for Newcastle as well, bearing in mind they are on the point of actually breaking their club record transfer fee. Miguel Almiron is on the way. Miguel Almiron, actually, from Atlanta in the USA, the MLS, where he's rated, actually, as one of the top players at the end of their season. They always have one of those, the top 11 where they pick various players in various positions around the country, and Miguel Almiron, he was chosen as the top striker in the MLS. So he's obviously a decent player, but now finally the two trainers are going off. So here we go. This is Matt Ritchie, who will take this left-footed. He puts the ball down. Ederson in the Manchester City goal. 79 minutes on the clock here at St James's Park. Matt Ritchie takes 5 or 6 steps backwards, and here we go. The referee blows the whistle. Up comes Matt Ritchie. Matt Ritchie fires the ball into the back of the net. Ederson went the right way, but Matt Ritchie has positioned it perfectly into the bottom corner. Could this be the game where finally the result will mean that City hand the title to Liverpool? It is Newcastle 2, Manchester City 1.
For Manchester City to get it back into it at Newcastle. Graham Courtney.
Well, we're into the second of 5 added on here at St James's, and at the moment, well, even though Manchester City are ploughing forward, actually Newcastle looking pretty good. And if anything, it's Newcastle, the team that's knocking it around. So at the moment, Newcastle standing firm in this game, and the place is about to erupt very, very shortly. That's in about 3 minutes' time. Still Newcastle 2, Manchester City 1.
Straight to St James's Park and Graham Courtney.
We have got 90 seconds of this game still to go. Newcastle fans loving it. I suspect the Liverpool fans are loving it as well. It's been a great game, it really has. Who would have thought that after Sergio Aguero scored in the 25th second, that actually they may end up losing this game. It's been a wonderful performance by Newcastle United on the day that actually they may be on the point of just about confirming a new club record signing, with a striker coming in from the MLS in the USA. But Manchester City pushing forward at the moment, and you can understand they're throwing absolutely everything forward, but Newcastle's defence has been standing firm. 30 seconds of this game still to go, and it's Newcastle actually they've got to sit back, they've got to defend. Gundogan has come on as well. Kevin De Bruyne is the player that has gone off. He was very, very lucky actually not to receive a second yellow card, and as soon as the referee decided to actually let that one go, he was immediately substituted. No surprise with that one at all. Manchester City, though, they have got a corner. It's on their right flank. It's going to be floated into the area. Everybody is forward apart from the keeper. Here comes the ball. It is floated into the area. Header comes in, and it goes way, way over. And it could take about another 45 seconds for the Newcastle fans to decide, shall we actually give the ball back? But this has been a terrific performance here on Tyneside, and it's interesting really whether this sort of day could actually be the red letter day for Rafa Benitez. He likes red in any case, with this signing coming in, and potentially, we've still got a few seconds to go, taking 3 points against Manchester City. Terrific performance, wonderful atmosphere as well on a bitterly cold night here on Tyneside. But you know what? This is why we love football. There goes the final whistle. A couple of the Manchester City players, they sink down to the ground. Sergio Aguero scored in the 25th second, and then in the second 45 minutes, Salomon Rondon actually got Newcastle going. Bit of a scruffy goal. He has fired that one in to make it 1-1. But then in the 79th minute, penalty for Newcastle. Sean Longstaff was brought down by Fernandinho. Matt Ritchie took it. Brilliant penalty as well into the bottom corner. So Newcastle up to 15th, 5 points clear of the drop zone. Manchester City stays second, 4 points behind Liverpool, who've got a game in hand. Is this the result that ends Pep Guardiola's bid for the title? Newcastle 2, Manchester City 1,